Welcome, everybody. This is Avoiding the Addiction Affliction, brought to you by Westwards Consulting and the Kenosha County Substance Abuse Coalition. I'm Mike McGowan. As we all know, children don't come with a manual. If we're honest with ourselves, many of us felt overwhelmed. Well, there are programs that can help, including the one we're going to talk about today. David Comer has a Master's of Science in Mental Health Counseling and is a supervisor for the Direct Assistance to Dads, or DAD Project. The DAD Project is a free, voluntary program that connects a fatherhood involvement specialist from the City of Milwaukee's Health Department with new or expecting fathers. It is the only home visiting program just for dads in the state of Wisconsin. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity, Mike.
For those who aren't familiar with the term, and I find that there's a lot of them,
Right.
what and who are home visitors?
Yeah, Mike. Well, home visitors make up like professionals such as nurses, social workers, and other trained professionals that meet families inside their home or in a public place to administer, certain services. In this context, in a more traditional sense, it's provide services for pregnant women, and families of children under the age of 5. And with the DAD project in itself, we probably primarily work with fathers. So it's not work with pregnant women, but we work with fathers and children under the age of 3.
So it's like a wraparound, right? Whatever you need. So you need a social worker, they come in. You need a nurse, they come in.
Absolutely, and our program is a multidisciplinary approach. So you have social workers part of the EFM, that which is our Empowering Families of Milwaukee program, which is our maternal program. Nurses as well. We also have access to a nurse coordinator within our program as well. So yeah, definitely somewhat of a wraparound opportunity, a program of services for those who are involved.
Well, okay, then why dads? How did this get started? And why dads?
I guess my response to that is like, why not? You look at many home visitations services and programs. Their goal is to increase maternal and child health outcomes. And what we know is that the involvement of fathers and dads are essential to this process. And I think for so long in our society in general is that I think we place unrealistic expectations on moms as if they have to be the end all and be all regarding the child, and then inadvertently removing fathers from that narrative. The question again, you said why dads? I mean, fathers and father figures contribute to the success of maternal child health outcomes. I mean, like when you look at the National Fatherhood Initiative has like its infographics as it relates to why is fatherhood beneficial to moms and dads and also babies, and you look at other predicting factors as it relates to fatherhood involvement and engagement, and also the opposite of that when you look at the absenteeism of fathers. Like there's a lot of predicting factors that we know that with the absence of fathers, then you have these unwanted outcomes for not only for the children, the family, but also when they're predictors of success or being unsuccessful as adults. So fathers are extremely essential and important. One of the things that we have a wristband that says fatherhood is forever and dads make a difference. So with that being the foundation of what we do, that's why we want to work with fathers.
It's great. It's voluntary, right? So how do men find out about the program and what do they know about it when they contact you?
We are like a diamond in the rough or like a gem. Because like you said, we are one of the only, probably the only home visitation service that prioritizes fathers as a primary caregiver in the state of Wisconsin. But how people find out about us, we do a lot of outreach events within the community, city of Milwaukee, as well as we partner with a lot of community-based organizations. We go where dads are. We also go where pregnant women are. you know, you
They go
know,
together.
yeah, right. They definitely go together. So we are doing much more intentional outreach to collaborate with organizations. I always say I don't want to, get tall or grow fat. So like I want to make sure people know about us, agencies know about us and what we do. But one of the biggest things is just like any other thing is word of mouth. We have a number of fathers who tell their friends about it, tell their families about it because they've enjoyed their experience. And also they sometimes they look at things like, oh, I can't believe a program like this exists. And so I think it's one of those situations where I think we assume fathers don't want help, but they definitely do when they find us.
Well, all right. Great point. Talk about what they can expect and what they learn.
Yeah, so I have mentioned before, what they expect is one is to be the primary caregiver. We view them as a primary caregiver and expert of their child, which sometimes is intimidating to say that out loud to fathers because they've never been activated or empowered to believe that. And so that means they are getting to know a lot about their children at an early stage. But also, more importantly, they are getting a chance to know about themselves. We do a number of assessments for the participants, for dad and the baby. So like we do a lot of self-discovery, like to understand where they are at, where they work, where they came from, where they're currently at, and where they want to go. And so one of the things that we do, like I said, a number of assessments to help them explore that. In addition to that, fathers can expect to be heavily involved and engaged in the knowledge of their child's health, their development as they get prepared for school readiness, and also be part of a brotherhood. Nonetheless, it's like you have an opportunity to have a person walk with you throughout your journey towards fatherhood, and that's a very special thing.
Well, okay. Well, you just lead me right into it. It takes, I think you'd agree, it takes a strong man,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
To ask for guidance. Not a lot of us had great upbringings by our dads, myself included. He was absent. So when I became a father, what are you supposed to base it on if you've never had it? So it takes a strong man.
absolutely. I think a self-aware man as well, like to be strong once and also to be aware that I need help. And I think a lot of fathers do that. However, as you mentioned, we are one of the only fatherhood home visitation that geared towards fatherhood services in the state of Wisconsin. So if you were thinking about this, like it's outside of the city of Milwaukee, you may ask a question and you may not get an answer.
Hmm.
And so, and I think that goes again, plays back to that myth. So I think a lot of men, whether they had a positive upbringing with their child or with their father or not, they'll seek help. Like, for example, myself, right? And then, like, my father I've never not known my father not to be there and be present, right? And so, however, my first child, I was involved in it. Uh, Actually, I wasn't. My wife was involved in the program. I made myself known, and made my presence be known inside the home visits. So she was involved in nurse family partnership and also birth to three, where I was present at the home visits. And so the practitioners, invited me, but but the services weren't for me specifically. So then that made me inquire, like, what are services out here for dads to help empower them to know more about their children because it's so important.
Well, you talked about it. The research is couldn't be more clear, right?
Yeah.
The more involved you are and the better the upbringing, 0 to 3, the more successful that child is for their entire life.
Yeah, not only the child, so yeah, like it helps. So again, early involvement in fathers, it helps us bond with our children.
Mm.
We don't have the opportunity to carry a child with us, right? And so even in the prenatal stage, we have opportunities to engage, in that process. Talking to the belly, playing tag when the baby's a little older. That allows us to bond and provide a lot more education for us. And so it's one of those unique opportunities that we don't always get a chance to engage in unless the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah. You sort of mentioned it when you talked about your wife and the people coming in. One of the things I found super offensive when my kids were little was people saying to me, "Oh, so you're going to babysit your kids tonight?"
Oh,
Right?
yeah, man. Yeah. And that again goes back to that point of like, as a father, you aren't expected to be nurturing. You're not expected to know those critical things about your child. But it's crazy to think about because if I'm a parent and parenting education is important
Hmm.
in our program of service, but I'm a parent and I'm an equal party inside this space. So
Hmm.
I still get that to this day. And I think the biggest advocates to pushback is that our wives, not intimate partners, to inform people like, hey, we're not babysitting, they're taking care of their children.
Hmm. And,
Mhm.
and dads are, we do nurture differently than I know that's a generalization, but
Mhm.
we come at it from a different space.
Yeah, there's some interesting research about, really nurturing fathers and an early stage was called like tough love, right? Where it was viewed that fathers are just really harsh. And it's like, well, accountability is not harsh. And allowing your kid to fall down and hurt themselves and let them explore is not harsh. That's just a part of parenting education and also the overall well-being of the child. So yeah, man, I think that, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of information out there that kind of breaks about those myths about us as nurture fathers and how we child rear a little different. But like our program, what we do with the Dad Project, we actually, like I said, we have a mirroring program, a maternal program, Empowering Families of Milwaukee, which is our maternal child health program. We mirror that program. So everything that mom receives, dads receive on a direct assistance for Dad's Project. So it allows fathers to also tap into that nurturing, but also what we call a responsible fatherhood portion as a parent.
You also have to be culturally sensitive too, I would think.
Absolutely. Something you mentioned earlier, you said that, not everyone has had a positive experience with fatherhood. And that plays a lot with a fatherhood involvement specialist adapting to the different type of cultures that we experience. And so we do a lot of the self-discovery with the fathers. We do a lot of goal setting. So like one of the assessments that the fathers participate in is a life skills progression as well as a childhood experience survey. So we utilize these assessments to help tell a story, to help create a narrative from their cultural upbringing, whether they're born and raised in Milwaukee or raised somewhere out the state or out the country, and offers the opportunity to help us understand who they are, where they came from, who they are, and where they want to go to, as far as like their parenting education and also them personally as a father.
And it's not just a helping and educational program. It also serves, right? It's a support program for the dads.
Absolutely. Like I mentioned, we do a lot of different goal setting with our fathers, not for them, so they set the goals themselves. And so what it is that you almost have a accountability. You have a person that's there to walk with you on your journey towards fatherhood as well as your goals. And so it provides an opportunity to let fathers know that you're not alone inside this process of fatherhood. And I think many fathers, you might be able to attest to this as well, is that it feels like a lonely journey. Sometimes it's difficult and challenging to talk to other men about this because I don't think I'm experiencing the same thing. But what the Dad Project does, it informs dads that you aren't alone throughout this journey of parenting, education, and fatherhood, and we're exploring what that looks like. And one of the things another service that we offer is our groups. So every first Thursday of the month, we have a group called Focus on Fathers. So this is an opportunity for all of our clients as well as other City of Milwaukee residents to come to the group, be led through a topic of discussion where you get the opportunity to see, like, hey, this is where I'm at on my journey of fatherhood, and I noticed I'm not alone. And also, this is where even us as practitioners, we are facilitating, but I wouldn't say we're leading. We make ourselves just like the people that we serve. So we are experiencing fatherhood just like they are experiencing fatherhood, and that allows an opportunity for everybody to be on a relatable playing field to show that, again, you're not alone, to show that the milestones I'm experiencing aren't unique to me, but also they're unique in my journey, where we have an opportunity to, again, engage in unique discussions around those things so we can avoid, intervene in certain processes.
That's key, right? Because it gives you an opportunity to correct also. I mean, I think of all the bad advice that we got. I mean, the world is full of bad advice. And for me, that was before social media. So, this is an opportunity to give the dads and moms in the Mirror program good advice.
Absolutely, and it's from an evidence-based approach.
Yes, right.
That's the biggest key. That's the biggest thing that I like to push is that I have my own opinions about fatherhood and parenting, right? But we utilize a curriculum, parents as teachers to help guide us. And so the curriculum is comprehensive and it has a lot of information around it. So any different type of milestone from birth to about 5 years old, it gives you opportunity to engage and have conversations about so that you are making the most informed decision about your parenting education, health education of your child, and also their overall development. And so it actually allows our fatherhood involvement specialists, our home visitors overall, and the chance again to rely upon something instead of relying upon my lived experiences. Like you said, that we receive a lot of advice, a lot of bad or indifferent advice that can land us in some hot water. And we want to prevent that, because going back to being cultural sensitive, there's certain things that I know I believed as a child because my father believed and his father believed. And it's like, well, just because you believed and practiced it doesn't mean that it's true, or it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be changed. And as I think, the infamous quote is, as you know better, you'll do better.
That's a really good point. And I see so many adults, David, justifying some of the abuse they got as kids
Mhm.
in order to feel good about the way they were brought up, and then passing that same advice on, like, well, that didn't hurt us. And it's like, well, what do you mean it didn't hurt you? You don't talk to anybody about stuff. You don't share your feelings about anything. You isolate, the blah, blah, blah. So it must be rewarding to see these men connecting with their children.
It definitely is. We have a unique opportunity to be in a space of extreme vulnerability and risk
Mm.
taking as a father. Every home visit, I as a supervisor, I shadow home visits, and every home visit is like one of those Hallmark commercials where you
Oh, it's
see, you see a father lifting their child up, talking baby talk, being informed about, even informed about breastfeeding, postpartum education. Just it's such a unique opportunity, and it's very rewarding when we have those opportunities. And also, again, it's not all peaches and cream because life happens. You have ups and downs, but with those ups and downs, it's great to see the fathers always come back to the table, being ready to address those challenges. Like I said, life happens. Sometimes we have fathers who have lost their job, or are fathers who were previously reincarcerated, and so they have some challenges with that. And so they're always coming back to the table, speaking with us, wanting to engage with their child, and then planning for the future. So it's something that we don't take for granted. But I always tell people, I wish that you get to see what I see. I promise it'll open up the eyes and allow people to, I guess, be more gracious with fathers in their approach towards fatherhood.
Well, one of the things when I was reading about your program, the men graduate, for lack of a better
Mhm.
word, when the child turns 3, correct?
Yeah, yeah, you can say that.
Well, there's challenges at 4, 5, and 7, right? So are there resources then that you like, hey, if you want to continue, this stuff is also available for you?
Absolutely. So we offer a program for at least 2 years, right? So let's say we start a father prenatally. The child's like 2, maybe close to 3 years old. We also graduate fathers based off of their goals and also
Mm.
their understanding of their child. So with that said, we partner then with early Head Start program. So we do essentially prenatal to about 3 years old. We do have curriculum for fathers for children up to 5 years old, but again, that's the early Head Start and school readiness. And so we do work with agencies where we do a nice warm handoff. So it's just not like, hey, you graduate, thank you for participating, good luck. We ensure that once you graduate, sign you up for early Head Start, get your child in school to continue that journey of parenting education and health education for your child. In addition to that, we still offer our participants to come back to our groups. So our groups are
Oh,
open to everyone. So you can still participate in the groups. And then there are other fatherhood groups and services in the city of Milwaukee that we refer fathers out to as well if they are looking for a different type of environment that can help them out with their children, but also with themselves as well.
that's great. I didn't realize that you still allow them to come back to groups. That's great. I can see them doing that just because it's like, well, these are my buds now. This is my support system.
100%. Yeah. And like we've had fathers who, again, they come back to group and then they inform other fathers to
Here's what's coming.
remain. Yeah. It's like, hey, stay inside the program. Trust me, it's going to work out. Or they may bring somebody else to the group or they become our biggest cheerleaders and advocates within inside the community. And I think that's what we like because it's an organic approach to our services and it keeps it going overall. So yeah, man, I love the fact that we can graduate fathers, can be retained inside the program in some capacity, and then contribute. My overall vision eventually, man, is to again like have like a peer support specialist, you know, in some way, shape, or form, employ our graduates where they facilitate group, where they are able to inform individuals and community members about not only our program, but the importance of fatherhood, how they've learned within our program how to cater to themselves and their children, their families. I know we're talking a lot about, fathers and children, but our program is still a family program. And so having conversations about co-parenting and co-parenting strategies and family strategies is one of the things as well. But that's my vision, though. Hopefully I can get to that point in the next couple of years.
David, I've been involved in programs like that, and that's a wonderful handoff. That is such a rewarding thing to see. And then you have no idea where it takes off from there, but it's just great. It's great.
Yeah.
Our listeners who listen all the time know that there are links to both the Dad Project, and you also mentioned on your website, there's also a link to the Parents as Teachers National program. But for those who don't bother to scroll and actually read, give us the information about how to get in contact with your program, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can go to our website, city.milwaukee.gov/DADS. That will take you to our website that has all information about the DAD project. Also, you can contact me directly if you have any questions about fatherhood services, or programming. I'm at 414-286-6636.
Do that again.
Yep. So 414-286-6636 is my direct line.
That's great. And David was so responsive to me, so you won't have to wait long before you get a call back.
Absolutely.
And on our link, it's going to look like it's just going to say Dad Project for those of you who don't see the backslash stuff.
Mhm.
David, thank you so much for joining us today and for doing this. It's just such a rewarding thing. For those of you listening, you know how this goes. We invite you to listen in next time, whenever you're able. And until then, stay safe and stay involved with your kids.
Absolutely.